Want to increase your chances of landing that job? Then look no further. Our sponsor for today's episode, Coach TC, has what you need. For CV writing, interviewing, and networking coaching, reach out to him on both Facebook and Instagram using the same name, Daily CV Writing Tips. Alternatively, you can even use the phone number that's written down in the description section. Use it on WhatsApp, give him a call. You know what you want to do. You do what you got to do.
Something's missing,
Reach
man.
out to him and get that CV spruced up ASAP.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Class of 2019. Let me be honest, I be smoking grass. I'm trying to burn memories of snakes from my past. The nightlife got me sleepless when I look for cash. Flood his headlights, shine my path when I hit the gas. Simply put, I ain't worried about nothing. I got so much to learn that I ain't worried about fumbling. They lacking the knowledge, but my city make assumptions. We killing everybody this time, no exceptions. Did I mention? Got the rap game on my mattress. About to hit it good till it makes me point of reference. Been out of practice, but I'm still...
Hello and welcome to the African Millennial Podcast. And in this episode, we're joined again by Vainah. So, like I said, Vainah is going to be with us for a considerable time in the future because we are partnering with Simuka to have the stream of episodes. And in today's episode, okay, she actually came up with this the name to this episode.
Okay. So we are starting a relationship series. So it's going to tackle a lot of different issues that people face or go through. And this series is titled the Nanshurugi Conversation Series. So
I
yes.
don't even want to know what a shurugi is. I don't even want to know. Okay, for the benefit of the international audience, okay, so shurugi is a shonen name,
hmm
and this is where you tap in, eh?
Okay. So Shirugi is a shonen name, and primarily it's the name of a place. But
Mhm.
at some point last year about one, there were a group of people that would come from this place, and they were going around robbing people, murdering them, um, robbing people at gunpoint, knife point, that sort of thing. So
Mhm.
they would take everything essentially and shoot people and kill them. So that term, they were literally called the shurugis, right? And then that term then became the title for anyone who does anything negative in a relationship. It could be if they're cheating, if they break someone's heart in any way. So that's where it came from. I don't know if I have the right story, but that's the story that I know. Yeah.
All right, so yeah, so we started on this non-shurugi conversation series, and I think it kind of sticks. I don't know,
hmm
but yeah, I guess I mean people just comment down below. Just tell us what you think about the name. We can
hmm
change it if you come up with something better.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
But I
Absolutely.
mean, yeah, but just going back, don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the podcast, guys.
hmm
Follow the Simuka page, follow the African Millennial page on Instagram. I think Simuka is on Facebook as well. So
Yeah.
just follow them there. Follow us on Twitter and communicate with us. We want to hear your opinions, want to hear your voice, want to hear some of the ideas that you have or opinions that you have on some of the topics that we're talking about. For
hmm
example, we said a lot on the Pompey,
hmm
or both of them, and probably you guys have some views or some opinions that you'd like to forward or voice. So please just contact us with that information, and we can just represent you right here.
hmm
Vina, do you really want to introduce this one? What are we going to be talking about in this episode in particular? That's what I'm
Okay.
interested in.
So we
You
decided.
hold up.
Yes.
The shot the high pitched okay you made there, was that okay? Was that all right? I mean,
Yes.
you
Yes.
seem anxious to get into this. What are we talking about?
So we just decided to go right in there. I know maybe we're kind of late to the train, still on time, but you know what? Late
Mhm.
is better than never.
Okay.
We are going to be talking about money and relationships, money and dating. I know in January it was quite a hot topic because people approaching Valentine's, and there was this whole business about the men's conference, people trying to run away from the fact that they would end up buying presents, and then
Yo.
we even ended up having the Stingy Men's Association, and this was a
Hmm.
group of men who were dedicated to not spending a single cent on any woman who they were dating, they were in a situationship with, that they were entangled with, that they were in any form of relation, romantically or otherwise.
Yeah.
So yeah, we are going to be talking about money and the conversations that people should really be having when it comes to money, and
Hmm.
how people, should be careful not to then get manipulated or be in financially toxic situations. So, we are just going to get right in there.
Well,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Let's get it cracking. I mean, you brought it up.
Mhm.
I didn't.
So, since we've got a man on the podcast, we'll start with the whole Stingy Men's Association. I mean, what are your thoughts on the whole thing? Are you an active member? Are you recruiting? Like, just tell us about what that says about the financial
Bro,
situation and relationships.
I'm sitting on the board of executive on that thing, man. I'm like, I'm like high up in that. I'm like high up in that organization. You don't even want to know. I'm joking. I'm playing. I'm playing.
Hmm.
Now, I mean, it's I guess the way people just put it was, I don't know. It just feels like a. It felt like a joke to me. Like just guys just having fun and stuff like that. But for the guys who are actually actually participating,
Hmm.
um I mean it goes back to the person. I mean, I can't really tell you what a person decides. I can't control how a person decides to
Hmm.
use their money. I mean, if a person is stingy by nature, they just stingy, can't do nothing about it.
Hmm.
If they're not, they're not. But then if they're not, and they're being influenced by other people to say, hey, look, we're having this stingy men's association show, come on and join in,
Hmm.
that's a problem, right? So if, I mean, for all the guys out there, I mean, just be yourself. I mean, if you are a generous guy, just be that. I mean, if you're appreciative of your woman, your lady, continue doing that. There's nothing wrong with, appreciating your lady, um getting her something on Valentine's. Not even, I don't, okay, I just want to get the whole notion of on Valentine's
Hmm.
or birthday, like, just appreciate your lady like anytime,
Hmm.
man, like randomly. Like, if you're that person who does that,
Yeah.
then there's no need for you to join in on this bandwagon of stingy men's association, because it's only going to bring problems to your own relationship. And
Hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, so number one, just, if you are not a stingy guy, don't try and turn into one just because some people are walking around saying, hey, there's the Stingy Men's Association. Because I mean, already, if for all the girls that are dating stingy guys, they already know that, hey, my boyfriend is stingy.
Yeah.
They know, like, so it's a thing of, if you started off being stingy, I mean, from the get go, if you were stingy from the get go,
Hmm.
your girlfriend already knows, right? So the girlfriends of guys who are stingy already know.
Hmm.
Wives of husbands or men who are already stingy already know,
Hmm.
right? But the rest of the women who are dating guys who are not stingy
Hmm.
know that their guys are not stingy.
Yeah.
So if something changes, it's only gonna bring problems into your relationship,
True.
because it's she might not understand that. I mean, you're trying to join this bandwagon.
Hmm.
She might just think that maybe the money is going somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So which will make you. She might think you're a shurugi.
But you know what? This whole thing then kind of brings out the fact that money is actually important in the dating relationship, because if it wasn't, there wouldn't be a
Hmm.
reason to have a whole association of men saying, you know what, we don't want to spend anything on women. I mean, is it because there are women who are out there to just be gold digging and getting men's money?
Hmm.
What is the situation? Because obviously, I mean, I think, we should make a mental note and, find someone who's proud to be a stingy man and have them on here, because I feel like,
I know one.
maybe.
I know one guy.
Okay, so we're definitely having them on next week.
I'm not sure if he'll. I think he might. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
But we can't promise. We can't promise.
Okay, definitely. So I'm just thinking that for these men to come to this position, they
Hmm.
probably might have had some somewhat legitimate reasons why they were saying they don't want to spend.
Hmm. That's true. Yeah. So I'll start off by saying, yeah.
Mm,
The first question you asked was, is money really important in relationship,
mhm,
or is money? And the answer is yes.
mhm,
Unfortunately, it is.
mhm,
Um, how are we gonna go on dates? How are you gonna take on a date? If you're driving, how are you gonna put fuel in that car?
mhm,
Wherever you're going, or how are you gonna buy the food there? I mean, we live naturally. We essentially living in an environment or in a world where, I mean, there's literally nothing that you can do for free.
except for breathe.
Yeah, except to breathe. But I mean, you can't be breathing with your girlfriend, can you?
Mhm,
And you say, so. I mean, if you want to do anything, you shall at some point inevitably have to use money. Look, if you're going out, let's think about the cheapest thing that you can think you want to do.
um,
Mm, What? Maybe take a walk in the park.
okay, yeah.
How are you gonna get to the park? How are you gonna get her to the park? You see, I mean, you're just gonna be using money. So
Mhm,
it's a non-factor now to say, hey, money, there's money. Nah, money is not really important. It's we can't okay. Money is not only important in relationships or dating. Money is important in life.
mhm,
Even when even if I am single,
mhm.
right? And I don't have money, I'm unhappy. Now think of it, if I don't have money and I'm in a relationship, if I've been unhappy when I'm single, think about it when I have a relationship.
So is it safe to then say that if someone doesn't have money, they shouldn't be in a relationship?
Um, I would advise you not to get into one. But I mean, at the end of the day, it shouldn't be the reason why people. Okay, here's the thing:
Mhm,
money is not the reason. Should never be the reason why anyone gets into the relationship.
mhm,
But for a relationship to go on or to have less of mashurugis appearing here and there,
mhm,
it there is need for money. Like for the general operation of a functioning or running of the relationship,
mhm,
money will be needed. Because I mean, we can say, okay, we're not going to do anything. We're just going to be. We're not going to go out. We're not going to spend time together.
mhm.
I mean, for the relationship to actually operate, you will need some money to do something like either get airtime to call her,
Mhm.
get data, buy data, through WhatsApp or Instagram and whatever. I mean, if you are the guys that are taking nudes and sending to each other, you need data to receive those
Okay,
nudes.
okay, okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
mean, are you gonna? Well, I'm just speaking on what's going on, right?
Absolutely.
How are you going to receive those nudes if you don't have money?
Okay, but okay. Now,
Okay.
now I've got a different question. I'm
Yeah.
just following through on what you're saying. You are speaking from a person who's a willing giver, a generous guy. And yeah, you would take your girlfriend out for lunch, you would take her for dinner,
Wait,
all
wait.
sorts of things, right? Is there
Uh-huh.
anything that you then expect in return for taking her out for dinner because you spent your money? Do you
No,
then
okay.
expect, because that's another angle that we also want to explore, because I've been hearing funny stories. Someone will take someone for a two-piece chicken in,
Hmm.
and then after they'll be like, I took you for a two-piece, I expect some in return. And you're thinking, for a
Okay,
two-piece.
I'll
Okay.
I'll just go back and say, look, it shouldn't, like, I go back to what I say, that
Mhm.
money shouldn't be the reason why you got into a relationship in the first place.
Mhm.
So this applies to both guys and girls. So
Yeah.
if I mean, let's just take the conventional way of looking at it.
Mhm.
A girl shouldn't get into a relationship because of of money, and the guy shouldn't get into a relationship because of what he can get because of money.
Mhm.
You get it? So if you're taking your girlfriend out, it doesn't automatically mean that you're entitled to getting XYZ. No.
Mhm.
It's That's it. I mean, when you it's all about the reason why you're doing it. You
Uh-huh.
know, you're not if you okay, if you are doing that for that reason, then that's perverted you. But if you're really doing it because it's something that you really want to do, then there shouldn't be any reason to expect anything, because you're not doing it conditionally.
Yeah.
I'm not chilling with you conditionally. It's not like I'm saying I want to chill with you on condition that we do or that I smash. No,
Okay.
I'm chilling with you because I want to chill with you,
Mhm.
because you're my girlfriend, right?
Mhm.
So it should be like that. Like, you should just chill with your person because you want to be with your person. Then if something else happens, I mean, yeah, but it shouldn't be I'm doing this because I want this in return. The
Mhm.
moment it becomes transactional, um that's no longer a healthy relationship, because yeah, I mean, you pretty much you just opened
Using
up
money. Mhm.
yeah, and you just opened up like a one client brothel or some
Okay. It reminds me of a story of someone that you
uh-huh.
might know. We won't mention names. Yeah. This is yeah, one of those. So this
Hmm.
person's a guy, right? And they were hanging out at a certain place in Harare. I won't mention the name.
Well, go on.
But it's a very popular spot in Mount Pleasant there.
Okay.
And they were hanging out, and they had gone to get this girl from her house, and they were like,
Uh-huh.
let's go and have drinks, right? They go to this
Yeah.
place and they have drinks, and then after that the guy's like, you know what, it's late, so let's go back to my house, and then I'll take you back to your house tomorrow, right?
Yep.
So because this girl somewhat trusted this guy and didn't think that anything would happen, she was like, okay, let me go with this guy to his apartment. And
Hmm.
then this guy happens to stay, well, somewhere close to there as well. And then they go to this guy's apartment. They get there, and then they're chilling, talking, and then next thing, the guy wants some coitus because he had gone to get her from a house. He had paid for drinks. And now he was saying that, you know what, because I've paid for all of this, I deserve something. And this girl's like, no, if you had told me this at the beginning, I wouldn't have come. So, this is ridiculous. I'm not having this. And the guy actually ended up being violent towards the girl. And this girl, this is around, I think it was around 3 a.m.
Hmm.
And this girl obviously didn't have money to go to her house. She wasn't prepared to go to her house, which was obviously maybe a thing she should have, just had a backup plan for.
Yeah.
And then this guy's like, you know what? I want us to have coitus. This is what's going to happen because I paid for drinks. I paid for drinks. I took you from your house, my fuel. And this guy is fuming. And then, this guy even attempted to rip this girl's clothes.
Wow.
And well, he then, then saw that even with the violence, this girl is not giving in. So he ended up throwing the girl out of his apartment at 3 a.m. in the morning.
Whoa.
And, that's how a lot of guys are, apparently. I
That's
won't,
bad.
okay, I won't paint every guy that way, but a fair amount of guys are like that. They are transactional in nature, in that if they spend on you,
Hmm.
they then expect, that, okay, because I've spent X amount, I expect a little something.
Yeah.
So should this be the normal, or like, okay, I want to then pose a part two to that question and say that should there be a limit when it comes to spending, when it comes to when you are personally spending on your girlfriend, so that you don't get to a point where you're like, oh, I've spent too much, she needs to pay for
Yeah.
this somehow. Should there be a limit? What is how do we stop relationships from becoming transactional in nature? Because obviously now it seems more like a transaction.
I mean, like, okay, first and foremost, I'll just go back to saying, one, that was completely unsanctioned what happened. That guy was totally in the wrong. I do not support that. This podcast does not stand for that.
Hmm.
And we at the Men's Stingy Association, we do not even stand.
Well, he's a proud member of that association.
Okay, so I resigned. Anyway, pretty much. Okay, what I'll say is, I mean, I don't actually support that.
Hmm.
That's wrong at all angles.
Yeah.
Um, and it should never be done. It should, and no guy should ever feel like he's entitled to anyone just because you paid something.
Hmm.
I'll go back to something I was told, or something that is always told everyone who tries to invest in something or to get into investment investing. It's
Hmm.
never invest with money that you're not afraid to lose.
Okay.
Always invest with money that you're willing to lose. Like, if you're
Hmm.
willing to lose $10, then yeah, invest $10, because investing is a risky business, right?
Hmm.
You can win, you can lose. So don't invest your life savings, yeah, or school fees, then you cry.
Yeah.
So similar thing. I mean, if you decide that you want to be out here spoiling spending money on people, I don't know
Hmm.
what the reason will be,
Hmm.
the motive will be. Please do it with money that you're not afraid to lose,
Hmm.
right? You know your wallet. I can't tell you like this is the limit. No, you know your wallet. You know the amount of disposable income you have,
Hmm.
and how you know how much of it you can utilize in such endeavors without really, feeling like you wasted money.
Yeah.
And that's number one. Number
Hmm.
two, clarify your motive.
Okay.
What's your motive? Why are you spending money on this person?
Hmm.
If I'm sending you money, if I decide to buy you something, Vina, if I say, I want to take you out,
Hmm.
right? What's my motive?
Hmm.
Am I taking you out because I want something in return?
Hmm.
Or am I taking you out because I genuinely want to with you and take you out?
Hmm.
Or am I taking you out because I want to sort of entice you to like me,
Manipulate.
yeah, or I want to manipulate you. So the
Hmm.
three scenarios, right?
Hmm.
I can legitimately be taking you out with the intention of, okay, this has this definite result. I should get this at the end of the day,
Hmm.
right?
Yes.
Or B, I could be taking you out with the whole I just want to chill with you. We just want to have fun,
Hmm.
right? Or C, I could be taking you out in a way that I want to manipulate you, right?
Hmm.
So I'm not the C is kind of, I'm not really sure.
Hmm.
I know I'm putting out possibility of you giving in or not giving in,
Hmm.
right? So I'm leaving room for that. So you need to assess that motive. See, okay, what really, why are you doing it in the first place?
Mhm.
If you're doing it for definite returns, then you need to communicate that with the person. I don't know
Absolutely.
how. I
Yeah.
don't know how, but you need to. Okay, communicating with a person will be difficult, but you need to assess the person. You
Mhm.
need to know, like, okay, because I mean, it's you are the one who's going to feel like you've been robbed at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like she came to your house, knocked on your door, asked you to take your car keys, put in the ignition, and drive her to. And she didn't ask for that.
Mhm.
You decided on your own to go pick her up, go with her, um, chill out, spend money on her, and with the hope of getting something in return. So you need to make sure that you know the person that you're dealing with. Uh
Okay, so what I'm
yeah.
getting here is both parties should clarify what's going on. If it's a
Yeah.
guy, he should state his agenda. If it's a
Mhm.
girl, she should be asking questions.
Exactly.
Exactly.
From the girl side, I mean, we had a conversation about this on consent.
Mm-hmm.
On the girl side, please assess, ask the guy,
Mm-hmm.
yo, why? It's again a thing, for sometimes some girls will willingly get themselves into these situations. Like we said again in that conversation on consent,
Uh-huh.
some of these things you sort of know if you're a stalker, if I still remember
Yeah.
correctly the word you use.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a stalker, you know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be infuriating at the end of the day if you were a stalker and then you end up acting as if you don't know what stalker is, right?
Mm-hmm.
So from the girl side, you need to be clear on what's going on, right?
Exactly.
From the guy side, you need to communicate your intentions, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So you might not communicate them as bluntly as possible, which is ideal in the case of in the court of law to avoid being penalized for
But why not be
rape.
direct? Why not be direct? You
No,
know,
I mean,
I think it saves everyone the heartache and pain of then dealing with disappointment. Because if you are going to be spending money on drinks, hoping for a happy ending after the drinks, maybe you should say so before you even go and pick up this girl and just let her know that, you know what? I'm coming to get you if you're
mhm.
interested. We're going to do drinks and then after that, let's do some. I don't know how people say this, but I feel like if it's more direct,
Yeah,
people once when she's getting into that car or when she's going for those drinks, she knows what's up. If it's a
true.
girl, you can't have a guy buying you an iPhone 13, iPhone 12 and you don't
Exactly.
ask questions. Why are you buying me this? Why are
Mine,
you
yeah,
spending so much money on me?
money on me.
Okay, maybe you're not even this guy's girlfriend. So you should be asking questions and there should be answers because especially with expensive gifts, it's a bit tricky. I'm speaking from the point of view of a woman, a girl that once someone starts buying you expensive things you should be asking questions because there have
You should.
been situations where people have got these expensive things and then things go south and someone comes back and they start demanding. This week, on social media there was a video doing the rounds of
Mhm.
this woman. Apparently she was dating this married guy
Yeah.
and then they broke up. So the guy had built this really good, really beautiful mansion for her. And he was
Wow.
so disappointed. He hired some cranes to go and destroy the whole mansion because he's like, end of relationship. Then
Are you for
I
real?
am taking what I bought for you.
I'm missing out on a lot of stuff. Dude, you need to send this out onto my DMs right away.
I will, I
Bro.
will. So, these are some of the situations you're trying to avoid,
Yeah.
you
I mean,
know.
it's very true.
Mm-hmm.
The moment someone starts spending a lot of money on you,
Mhm.
you need to ask questions.
Exactly.
What's going on?
Mhm.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I know was with some girls it will be isn't he wants to spend money on me, it's his
Exactly.
decision.
Mhm.
And the friends might even say, hey, look, just girl, just enjoy the money, right?
Mhm.
But you need to understand that you're putting yourself in harm's way, right? You
Exactly.
are,
Yeah.
with each dollar, with each cent, with each $10 note that you're receiving and allowing him to spend on you,
Mhm.
you are sort of giving him a tighter grip on you,
Yeah.
because um the more he's spending on you, the more he's starting to feel entitled.
Mhm.
And in a way, the more you are also exposing yourself to him in a vulnerable way. Because it starts off maybe with hey, let me buy you this, or hey, let me take you there, or
Mhm.
hey, this. You end up becoming receptive
Yeah.
of the gifts,
Mhm.
even though you might not want everything else. You're like, yeah, I'm just here for the money.
Mhm.
But you put yourself in a position where this guy might just switch up on you, and there's
Mhm.
like maybe you are somewhere, and he's like, yo, we need to do this right now, right?
Uh-huh.
And
Yes.
you are in a position where you really can't defend yourself, you really can't run
Mhm.
away, you really can't do anything, and you might end up getting raped, right?
Mhm.
So you need to be aware of these situations, and you need to be aware of the reasons why a person is doing certain things for you,
Mhm.
right? If
Mhm.
it means, if it's something as exorbitant as, I mean, like someone getting you a car, someone getting you
Mhm.
a house, or someone getting you like an iPhone 13, you need to you need to be sure why,
Yeah.
right? And I mean, if you are in agreement, because the thing is going to be, it goes back to what again we spoke last said about last time, that I mean, if you accept that iPhone 13,
Mhm.
it the question is why. Even your parents will ask you,
Mhm.
why were you getting this? Why were you accepting the phone from him in the first place?
Mhm.
Everyone would want you to say that, like to answer that question. Why were you
Mhm.
accepting the phone in the first place? So you need to ask yourself why, right?
Uh-huh.
If you figure out, actually, you know why he's giving you that phone,
Mhm.
right? And you consciously will make that decision to, okay, I'm accepting the risk
Mhm.
or I'm not,
Yeah.
right? If you're not, hey, let the phone pass,
Mhm.
right? If you are, then take it. But then when he then comes to claim what Caesar wants, yeah, it's going to be, of course, we'll sympathize with you, but at the same time, we'll make you an example. Like, hey, stop, you girls need to stop this. Because at the same time, even though he might be in the wrong, that what he is doing is not really justifiable,
Mhm.
it's not ethically correct or ethically right,
Mhm.
your actions led us to this situation. Your actions also led us to this situation. So it's a you need to be
Extra careful.
aware. Yeah, you need to be extra careful and be aware of the part that you're playing in a fateful eventual future you know
Yeah. You know,
yeah.
psychologists actually talk about how people who are financially toxic start off, you know.
Yeah.
In most situations, they start spending money on you, and it's crazy amounts, and they sell you all these dreams, and they're taking you on planes to
Yeah.
wherever. And with that money, they use it to control your life, they use it to control your everything. And at some point, this is the kind of person who will then tell you, you know what, you don't need to go to work. I'll take care of everything. And that's
Mhm.
giving them control over your life. And
Yeah.
next thing you find yourself, you can't even go to town without telling them. Next thing you can't even say no, I can't come with you
Mhm.
to whatever trip you want me to come with you. and they start controlling you. And we have so many girls, so many women who are in situations where they're being controlled because someone is using money, and
Yep.
they can't even do they're driving this nice car, they have this beautiful expensive hair, their makeup is on point, but they don't
Yeah.
have freedom because they are under the control of the person who's handing out the bills in the
The bill.
relationship.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's true. And I mean, that's now the sad part about money and all that, and it now goes back to a person's persona or person's character.
Hmm.
If you are that person who is susceptible to to being manipulated by money, then ish, I don't know. It's gonna be hard. But you need to be aware that we're in a society or environment where money people just equate girls to gold diggers.
Hmm.
Yeah. So men of today, they just look at you and money will solve everything, right? So you are in a situation where you need to prove that you're not the latter, um, or otherwise. So you're guilty until proven otherwise.
But that's an unfair point to start from.
No, but then
Although,
no, but then
mhm,
wait a minute.
yeah,
It's not it's the same thing. It's the same metric that you girls use.
okay.
Every guy is a dog until he proves himself otherwise. If I'm walking up to a girl, she's probably looking at me like, this is a shurugi,
Mhm.
right? Then I have to prove that, look, I'm not a shurugi. I'm actually a decent guy, right?
Mhm.
So it's the same thing, with girls. I mean, okay, of course it will vary with most guys. I'm not saying as well that these are like the rules written in stone,
Mhm.
that every guy walking up to a girl is in a shurugi by default. I mean, to other girls they're not, right?
Yeah.
But for girls, I'm saying for your safety, right? And for you to ensure that you always have the record straight,
Mhm.
just assume that this guy is looking at you and thinking money will get me whatever way with this girl, and prove him wrong.
But then again, there are actual gold diggers out there. We won't refute that. There are girls who
They
actually
are.
want people for money, and
Yeah,
there are girls who will date someone for money.
true.
And, still on that tip of girls wanting money, what are your thoughts on girls that demand money in relationships? It's one thing for a guy to be willing to pay for
Yeah,
your hair, pay for
I'll
your
just say,
nails,
I'll just
pay
say
for all
straight
of
up.
that.
I'll just say straight up.
Mhm.
Uh, personally, it puts me off. Personally, it
Mhm.
puts me off. Personally, the moment you pull off such a stunt on me, it's done. We done. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But then we live in a society where all of these things are happening. You will have a girl who has friends who are telling you, "What? He doesn't pay for your hair. He doesn't take you he doesn't, pay for your nails. He's not paying for
Mhm.
your pedicure. So why are you dating him?" There's that pressure in society, and it's real, and it's on Facebook, it's on
Yeah,
Instagram, it's everywhere. People's
yeah.
friends are telling them, if your guy is not buying you this, then he's doing nothing. And then that pressure translates to the girl, who then goes and they're like, you know what? Can I please have money to go and get my hair done? You know? And you're thinking, okay, there's
No,
some
no, no.
guys who will probably.
Wait.
Mhm.
That's different.
Mhm.
That's asking.
Okay, I've actually said it in a polite way.
Yeah, we're talking about demanding here.
Yeah, they'll
I
be
mean,
like, you need to give you it is your responsibility
mhm,
to get my hair done. It is your responsibility to make sure that
yeah.
I'm maintained. I've got fuel in my car. I've
To
been
be honest,
transported from point A to point B. So,
I
yeah.
don't want to lie. If you demand money from me, I mean, that's it. We done. Like, they shouldn't be that.
Hmm.
Like they should. Like I was saying. Um. Okay. yes, there are pressures. Pressures exist in the world,
Mhm,
and need to make sure that you don't allow yourself to succumb to such pressures.
mhm,
Why? Because yes, they'll tell you, hey, if he's not buying you this, then what are you doing with him?
mhm,
But is she telling you that if he's not beating you up every day, if you're afraid to go out with your friends without his permission,
mhm,
if you can't go anywhere with any other guy, with your guy friends,
mhm,
because I mean, is she telling you all that stuff? Is she also encouraging you to get that type of people? No.
mhm,
You need to know exactly what you want and not basing that off what you're seeing online
mhm.
or what your friends are doing. I
Yeah.
always say this. I mean, just because, people, another couple is doing something doesn't mean I should do it.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
just because my friend buys his girlfriend uh, a phone doesn't mean I should buy my girlfriend a phone. No,
Mhm.
right? He does what he does because of his capability and where he is in his relationship and how he operates.
Yeah.
I do what I can do based off my capabilities, my position in the relationship,
Mhm.
and how I operate, right?
Mhm.
I'm not a person who takes lightly being demanded money. You know, it's the moment you demand money from me, it means you believe that it's yours to start with. The
Yeah.
only person who can demand money from me is the person who I owe money. If you don't owe me nothing, if I don't owe you anything, you
Mhm.
can't demand me for anything.
Mhm.
You know, even my mom can demand me for money. She can only ask.
Mhm.
My brother can only ask. My friends can only ask. You can't demand money from me. Who are you? Are you are you NASA? Are you Zimra? Who are you? You can't demand money from me. Are you the IRS? Who are you? Look, I
Mhm.
mean, we need to be clear.
Mhm.
Just because we're dating doesn't make you a co account holder, or you it doesn't mean you automatically own everything I own. No,
Mhm.
that doesn't mean it. No, I need to be I need to do it out of the goodness of my own heart, out of my own willingness. I should
Mhm.
be like, hey, okay. You think I don't see other guys getting their girls' hair done? I see that stuff.
Mhm.
Right? I'm on Instagram. I see people buying $700 roses. I see that stuff.
Mhm.
Right? But then it's now back to me to okay, and I'm like, okay, should I do this? Can I really do this?
Mhm.
Or what can I do?
Yeah.
Obviously the same pressures that exist to you exist to me, right? But
Mhm.
I am trying to look for a best way, I mean, from my end,
Mhm.
that won't really put me in a position where I feel like um you know we're doing this the wrong way, or I
Yeah.
don't know, like maybe, because I mean, okay, let's take for example,
Mhm.
as a girl, you say you deserve to get your hair done, right?
Yeah.
You demand that a guy does your hair,
Mhm.
and this guy's salary can barely pay for the basics, and your hair requires, say, I don't know, maybe you want the Peruvian or the Brazilian or whatever,
Yeah.
or that
500, maybe 500 US for the hair,
for
and
the hair.
then for the hairdresser, maybe $50 or $100, depending
Yo,
on where you want to get your hair done. So
you
that's
see,
about 600.
and you're looking at and this guy can barely pay his rent,
Mhm.
right? This guy can barely pay his rent. He can barely he's in debt,
Mhm.
trying to make other things work and all that. You're the girl who deserves to get her hair done.
Yeah.
This is a guy who cannot afford to, right?
Mhm.
So you can't really say. You can't go to this guy and say, "Hey, I deserve to get my hair. I demand to get." You can't use that kind of terminology with him because he can't afford it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Even if he wanted to, he can't afford to. So he's in a situation where he's saying, "Hey, look, I know I can't afford to. I would really love to, but I can't. So I'm looking for another way. I'm looking for an alternative. What can I do? I'll do your nails. I'll do your lashes. I'll get your lashes done." I'm just saying it as a joke, but
Yeah.
as a guy, obviously, uh, okay, let me pause. 2 seconds. All right. So we're saying, I mean, look, this guy does not afford anything, and you're demanding stuff of him. To me, the moment you start demanding, it's off because I know exactly where you stand. You know, you because I mean, if you start off demanding, if you demand to get your sorry, if you demand to get your hair done,
Mm-hmm.
if you demand X amount of money,
Mm-hmm.
um, that's because that's what you're currently exposed to right now. What happens when you start seeing other girls getting cars, Lamborghinis, and houses? You start demanding that of me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I might not be able to afford that.
Yeah.
So it's just best we dissolve the relationship
Yeah.
before we waste each other's time, because you can't be demanding things from me. I can't be demanding things from you.
Mm-hmm. I think
You,
it
yeah.
probably is some type of abuse. Would need to like really confirm, but like
Yeah, it is abuse. Pocket abuse.
it has
You're
to
raping a bank.
when you're like, because obviously some people don't demand in the aggressive sense where
Yeah,
they actually go and say, I want money. Some people are emotionally manipulative
exactly.
and they
True.
will start telling you all these manipulating things so that you
Hmm.
give them money that probably you might not even have.
Yeah,
And I think that's how some people end up in, dating married people because
people.
they're
Yeah,
like, okay, my boyfriend can't give me this amount of money, but this married guy is really, eager to give me money, but
hmm
obviously it comes at its own cost.
yeah. Because you need to realize that the moment someone starts demanding something from you, right? They might not say it outright,
Hmm.
but they start to display those, like you were saying, emotional, manipulative
Hmm.
cues, right?
Yeah.
It puts pressure on the guy.
Yeah.
That's a fact. It
Hmm.
makes the guy uncomfortable.
Uh-huh.
The relationship won't move smoothly because now the guy is feeling the pressure, right? He sees what's going on and he knows what you're saying,
Hmm.
but you're not just saying it, but he can tell that, okay, this is because I'm not doing X. This is
Hmm.
because I didn't get her Y. This is
Yeah.
because and when we get to a situation like that,
Hmm.
um, you now have a guy who's feeling some type of way about you, right?
Hmm.
Obviously, you feeling that he should give me something, right?
Hmm.
So this guy might not trust you.
Yeah.
You just lose trust in you, right?
Or
And
still, he might feel bad and inadequate as a man that he's not doing,
exactly,
you know,
yeah,
enough as a man to provide for his girl.
that's actually true, and that's so bad.
Hmm.
Like that just destroys a guy to the core because now he's looking at you and he's looking at himself and he's thinking, why am I not a, those kind of questions. And it's not good.
Hmm.
It's not good for you to do that to another person
Yeah.
just because of your selfish desires.
Hmm.
You can't demand stuff from people. The moment you demand anything, I'll say this to all guys.
Hmm.
The moment a girl says, "Oh, guy," start demanding. Yeah, you never know, bro. You never
Okay.
know.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, the
Hmm.
moment someone starts demanding anything from you, that's bad. Both guys and girls. The
Hmm.
moment you start feeling like you demanding or the moment you start demanding, or the moment you start feeling like someone is demanding from
Mhm.
you anything, be it financial or kind,
Mhm.
we have a problem,
Yeah.
gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. We have a problem.
Financial toxicity right there.
Exactly. Like, also, it might not be because I know the girls are just gonna be like, it's not like you guys don't demand. Yes. So the also for the girls, the moment you feel like he's demanding certain things off you, right?
Mhm.
You know, yeah, it shouldn't nothing should ever be demanded for in a relationship. The
Yeah.
only thing I say should be demanded for is love.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you signed this up. You signed up for this.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you went to the person. You decided to be in the relationship with the person, and you need to be there for the person. You need to give in that form. And when I say love, it doesn't mean that you sleeping with this, but that's not love. I mean like being with a person. Like yeah, that demand that,
Mhm.
demand that because that, unlike everything else, that's really it's a non-transactional item, and there's something that is like the prerequisite of relationship. So demand a relationship from a person,
Mhm.
demand that. Don't demand sex, don't demand money,
Money.
demand the relation, demand you deserve to be in a relationship, you deserve to be loved,
But you
you
know what? You should
deserve to
say
be
that
cared for.
with a bit of moderation, because there are stalkers and there are
Mhm.
people who would think that they deserve certain people even if the relationship is over. But we will talk about that in a different different episode.
Yep,
So
that is
yeah,
true.
yeah,
I mean,
people. Mhm.
yeah, people should just be normal people, bro. Like,
Mhm.
you know, don't deserve other people's money. You didn't work for it. You don't deserve other people's bodies. They're not yours. You only get what you're given.
Mhm.
Be content with
Mhm.
what you've been given. That's what you've been given. Be content. And if you feel like that's not what you want, leave. Let I'll be better. I'm better off with a girl that tells me, "Hey, Akeem, I really want to be bought all these expensive phones, taken to these expensive trips, uh, given all these expensive perks and monetary perks and all that." I'm better off with a girl that tells me that than she tells me, "Hey, so I can be with you really if you can meet those, right?"
Mhm.
I'm better off. No, it's fine.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you know what? Cool. Thank you very much for being open to me. And it helps me understand. And it helps me see that I'm not really the guy for you, you know?
Yeah.
As opposed to a situation where you really want all these things, right? But you're trying to hide underneath, you're trying to be um like you don't really care about all these things, but you really are burning inside and you're demanding those things in other ways, in other subtle manners. Right?
Yeah.
It's not a good relationship. Same with you, Vina.
Mhm.
It's best if, say, you are in a relationship with a guy and the guy tells you straight up that, hey, look, you are not giving me. I really want us to be doing this kind of thing. I want coitus in
Mhm.
this relationship, and you're telling me that I mean, we can't have that. I
Mhm.
can't be with you because of that, right?
Yeah.
Because I want it's better he tells you that straight up. And if you guys do part ways, if you guys part ways, then you part ways on that note, knowing that there's nothing actually wrong with you, Vina. You're a good person, and
It's
he
it's
does not.
okay to want different things. That's what people don't
Exactly.
understand. It's okay to
Yeah.
want different things. And this is dating, hey? You can
Hmm.
always leave if, your needs are not being met or what you want is not being met.
Yeah. Because I mean, there's no formula to dating. There's no way where it's written that, I mean, if you're dating, you should be doing X, Y, Z.
Mhm.
Dating is more of it's. I'd like to say it's like a. it's like a compound, different atoms or elements bring in different properties
Yeah,
to the reaction. So not every compound will be the same.
absolutely.
If you're a hydrogen and I'm an oxygen, put out a different mixture. If
Hmm.
you're a boron and it's like a whatever, different mixture, all the same. So just because your previous relationship was like this doesn't mean your next relationship is like going to be like this.
Hmm.
You need to, once you're in that relationship and when you're dating that person, identify what's going on, identify what you want, see if the person that you're with is with you in terms of those things that you want. See
Hmm.
also what he wants or she wants.
Hmm.
See if you are in an agreement with the things that she wants.
Yeah.
Then if you figure out, hey, this is actually a good compromise. I mean, obviously you need to compromise, find a good level of compromise.
Hmm.
If you feel like, okay, I'm in a good relationship, it's steady, fair, good enough compromise, then cool,
Yeah.
let that thing go on. But then if you feel like, this is requiring more of me,
Hmm.
then I mean, stop it. Because I mean, if the relationship, if you are not a person who's up to sleeping with people, right?
Hmm.
um but he or she expects you guys to be, doing that,
Yeah.
then obviously the relationship is requiring more of you, you
Yeah, it
know
is.
so it's not good for you anyway, because at
Yeah.
any point in time, every point in time, to be honest, it will somehow just turn to a way of you being trying to be manipulated to doing something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's same thing. If you're a girl or you like expensive stuff, you want to be pampered with all these nice gifts and all that stuff, right?
Hmm.
And you get in a relationship with a guy that does not really look at it in that way, or doesn't really look at relationships in that same light.
Hmm.
You might say, okay, you're going to require more of him,
Yeah.
and you're going to somehow manipulate him to. You might not do it openly,
Yeah.
but your actions will.
Hmm.
Your actions might, lead
Yeah.
up to that unknowingly. It's not like you'll be like, hey, can I buy me an iPhone?
Hmm.
No. But your actions might just then show him that, hey, this girl wants a little bit more on, in terms of gifts and stuff. You
Yeah.
know, yeah. So let us just be transparent.
Yeah. It should
What,
be
yeah, what,
transparency.
yeah, what do you expect? You know,
Hmm.
what do you expect, and what are you offering, and what are you willing? Negotiate. It's a business deal.
Okay, speaking of being transparent,
Hmm.
how should people really like not talk about, like define, because we're talking about money, right? So
Hmm.
how should this, and this is money and dating.
Yeah.
So what should what are the what are the questions people should be asking in terms of, money when it comes to dating, in terms of, what is yours, what is ours, what is mine? How should people be coming up with boundaries for that? Because obviously, if there's no boundaries, that's when we have all this chaos, when, you know, one partner is saying, all the money that we have is ours, and you have Akeem saying, there's money that's mine, then there's money that I'm allocating to spending on you. Not all my money
Hmm.
is yours. And obviously this girl is probably saying, I'm not spending on this guy. All my
Hmm.
money is mine, but all his money is ours. So how how do we have these conversations to
I've heard
really,
I've
yeah,
heard that for a long time. Like, my money is my money, your money is our money.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was
toxic. That's
that
actually
was
toxic.
always that was always a girl telling me that.
Mhm.
And I can tell you this
Mhm.
from the get-go. Your money is your money and my money is my money. There's nothing like our money. There's nothing like our money.
In the dating context, okay, yeah, we're talking about the dating
Yeah,
context.
in the
Yeah.
dating context, there's nothing like our money. Come on, there are people, there are mothers who don't even know their husband's salaries.
Mhm.
What makes you so sure that someone will give you?
Okay, speaking of salaries, you've just brought a very interesting point.
Mhm.
Should your partner or the person you're dating know how much you own, how much you earn, how much you owe? How important is that in a relationship?
Hey, that's I'll flat out just say they shouldn't.
Why? We're
But
talking about
again,
transparency here, and this is a person
wait,
that you're dating.
wait. I'm
Yeah.
saying okay, like it's a it's a double-edged sword, you know. Like
Okay.
they shouldn't, they should. It also depends with how long you guys have been together. Because
Okay.
I feel like sometimes if they do,
Hmm.
it brings in a lot of expectation from their end. You know, it's like with my mom. If my mom knows how much I'm earning, she's starting to calculate how I'm spending it,
Hmm.
you know, and she's trying to see, you know, where the extra money is going, you know.
Hmm.
So the same thing goes on. If you know how much I'm earning, eh, I mean, you get to a point where you're like, oh, okay, so, but why am I not getting something? But at the same time, also, I feel like it also helps with setting expectations low. So yeah, like probably if you're in debt,
Hmm.
you know, it'll really help with someone knowing that, oh, okay,
He's paying
this
off
is
debt. Yeah.
he's paying off this, he's currently working on this.
Hmm.
So it means that his funds are not going to be. I feel like the exact figure might not be of good consequence. Like no one should really, you shouldn't know the exact figure, but I should be transparent with you in terms, maybe in terms of what I'm currently using my money on, you know,
Okay.
like maybe if I'm paying off a car, or maybe if I'm paying off a stand, or maybe if I'm building,
Hmm.
or if I have a project that I'm running, maybe I can just say that to sort of give you an indicative of, hey, look, I might not really be in that position to really go all out in some things because I have these 3 4 pressing issues. I don't know, I feel that's how I feel.
So at what point does, in a relationship, does someone then get full disclosure of, the actual figures? Because obviously maybe you're talking about at the beginning of a relationship, or maybe when people are just, dating casually, but not like with the intent of, dating for the long run and obviously going for marriage. So at what point then should they get a full disclosure of, okay, let me show you the spreadsheet of my life. This is what I'm earning. This is what's in
Uh-huh.
my bank account. I own a car. I've got a stand. I owe 16,000 US dollars to this person. I owe I
Yeah,
owe
I
the
think
Where do
uh,
we get at what point should then people have the full disclosure conversation in the dating sense?
since I think the moment you guys decide to, you know, make it that, because I mean, okay, there's that dating, I'll call it dating level zero, where it's, I mean, it's more like you're just acquaintances or just trying to get to know each other, right? Then you graduate to like level one, where things are a bit serious but a bit casual at the same time. You know, like, you know, you spend more time with the person, but at the same time, it's, you know, it's not like he's gonna marry you, and it's not like you gonna marry him. You know, then we
Okay.
move it to like level three, level two. I mean,
This is
wait.
starting to sound like lockdown. Level 3 now. The levels
Yeah,
of dating. Okay.
I think we need to categorize all these things. So
Mm.
yeah, there's level two where you guys are now like super comfortable with each other. I mean, you feel it
Mhm.
as you're moving through all these phases. Like, something's changing. There's this time where level two, maybe you're now more comfortable with each other. it's now more, like serious. It's again not like we're gonna marry each other next week, but it's more of, hey, I'm you, you can trust me. I'm with you, you can trust me. I'm yours. That kind of thing. Maybe you're doing a lot of things also, chi together, that kind of thing. Maybe let's take it then. Maybe level three, where you're like, hey, let's probably move in together, or um
Okay.
yeah, like you can move in together, or that kind of stuff, where you start doing things together, like pretty much like, you might be going to work together, if you might be staying together, you might not really be staying together, but more of, you are that exclusive, like
Okay.
you guys are that, and it's not like a time thing,
Uh-huh.
it's more of a people thing, because it's not like, hey, this you get to this stage in 3 months, or you get to this stage in 1 year, or you get
Uh-huh.
into this stage in 5 months. No,
Mhm.
it's more for you guys thing. We can get through from level 0 to 2 in like an hour.
So
Yeah,
level three is when you're saying, okay, you can take out the spreadsheets and,
yeah, I feel like
talk about
we
it, do a
yeah,
PowerPoint presentation and be like, you know
you
what?
know,
I'm sending you an email
email.
tomorrow. I want you to sleep and, go over these figures. And then tomorrow you'll hear my story and the story behind these figures.
Because I mean, at level three, yeah, I'm saying that's probably where you guys are now starting to do more things together. Like, not really doing things in terms of the trivial things. Like, I mean, like big things. Like, probably that's a stage where, if we're at that stage, that's when, if I'm probably making a decision,
Hmm.
I'm actively involving you in my decisions. Like, maybe I'm changing jobs, I'm
Hmm.
looking for a job. That's where I'm actively changing. Because I mean, at all these other levels, I might not even tell you. I'll only tell you,
Okay.
oh, I got a new job, right?
Hmm.
Because I mean, it's also, there's a balance between information that should be disclosed. There should be a balance between information that should be disclosed in a relationship, and at which point we at.
Hmm.
Because if we're at level 0, that's where it's like super casual. It's like maybe we just met. I can be telling you that, hey, okay, so I'm looking for a new job. My old job sucks. Dude. Or I'm looking for a new job. I'm considering leaving the country. No.
Okay.
This is the, hey, ah, I just left the country.
Oh gosh. That's intense. That's intense. That's intense.
But I'm like, like all higher levels, and like level 3, where we're more. That's the time where probably we making decisions like, hey, you know what, look, we want. That's where we more of using the terms we, you know like, let us build a future in this country or this city. That's
Hmm.
the point where maybe we can apply for visas together,
Hmm.
because you can't apply for a visa with someone you just met today.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can't be thinking of going to a new country with someone. If we met yesterday, or if you met a month ago, in terms of like the vibe where we at,
Hmm.
um, if I decide I want to go to a different country, or if you decide you want to go to a different country, that's of zero consequence to me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I can't change my whole life just because you are taking your life somewhere else. you know I'm still at that point where I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll just count my losses, and that's it, right?
Okay.
So,
I,
but
I I just I just
yeah.
thought of something since
Mhm.
you're on this path. That, so can we then say that there's such a thing as financial infidelity when dating? Because I know that when people are married, they can say, okay, there has been some financial infidelity. And by financial infidelity, that's when you probably withhold information about like a secret stash of money that you have, or or you are not transparent in terms of how you're spending money, and You're just not
Mhm.
transparent about. You could just go and buy a whole car that your partner doesn't know about. So when it comes to dating, is
Mhm.
there such a thing as financial infidelity, or your finances are just separate?
Our finances are separate. That's a
Okay.
fact. Yeah,
So
that's a
there's
fact.
no catching feelings where she'll be like, why did you buy a car without telling me? Why did you buy a house without telling me? Is she allowed to say that, or is he allowed to then say, how could you go and, buy these expensive things without telling me?
Again, it goes back to which stage are we? I mean, if we're at a stage where we're not there yet, we get to a stage where I you're complaining that I didn't tell you about me buying a new car
Mhm.
affects me or is an issue. At some stages, to be honest, I don't really care. Like I'll buy the car I want
Mhm.
because again, it's my money, right? But then at some stages, I'll ask you, okay, hey, I'm thinking of buying a new car. What do you think?
Mhm.
Then you give your input. At some stages, I'll consider the input. At
Mhm.
some stages, I just don't give a F.
Okay, so if it's level 3, guys.
Yeah.
Level 3.
Yeah, I feel like at level 3, that's a stage where you're more inclined to because I'm sure at that point also you even have these conversations on a daily, like on a regular. You have it's
Mhm.
part of finances become part of your conversations because you are now starting to build. You're building in towards courtship, you're building towards marriage and that kind of stuff. That's like level 3 stuff. So you obviously are more in sync when it comes to relate to finances. Again, I would say most people would argue, but I believe that it's a good thing to get in a relationship into marriage and be transparent completely with finances.
Mhm.
So it's a good habit to actually get started with that while you're dating before you actually get into a marriage.
Mhm.
Because when you get married, if you always kept your secret stashes,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean that when you get married you're just gonna be like, these are all my stashes. No,
Yeah.
old habits die hard. So when you get to level 3, I would say that's a good time for the both of you to be transparent with each other in terms of how much you're earning, even on the girl side,
Yeah.
because we both now want to understand like what sort of direction can we take together, because
Mhm.
understand we're now talking of we want to move in this direction together and not individually.
Yeah.
At all these other stages, it's all me. It's all me. I'm doing things my at my at my pace, and you're doing things at your own pace as well, right? Depending on your finances. So, and there's no really need for disclosure at this point because I mean, but then I think when you get higher up and more invested with each other, it's high time you, because I mean, think about it. Someone wants to marry you, but you don't know how much they're earning.
Yeah.
It becomes counterintuitive. Like, what do you mean someone wants to get married? And like,
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
mean,
I
in,
I
in
get you.
Africa where we pay lobola, if you don't know how much someone is earning, how then are you gonna know like how much they're gonna afford? Like,
Yeah.
how much lobola are they gonna give your parents? And how are you gonna? I've seen issues on Twitter where girls were complaining that he paid not enough money for me. Like he paid too few money for me for my lobola. But then,
You didn't even know how much this guy was making to begin with.
yeah, I mean, you should know that because if I'm making a few bucks, say if I'm making $500 every month or 200,
Hmm.
how am I gonna pay 10,000?
And worse off, if this guy is involved in illegal things, I mean, you should know about it. because
Exactly.
we come from a place where if the police are
Hmm.
looking for a guy and
They're
they
gonna
know
look for
you're
you.
dating him, they will
They'll
come for
take
you.
you.
They'll
Yeah.
take you.
So it's important also to know how. At this point, I think it's also important to know where this guy gets his money from.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know,
Hmm.
maybe this guy is getting all his money from his dad.
Yeah.
Maybe this guy doesn't even go to work.
Hmm.
He just get his money from his dad. He's just spending his dad's money. It's important for you to know that now
Yeah.
because you're building towards lower down at these stages. You don't need to
Yeah.
like. I mean, it's now up to his discretion. But when you're getting more involved, you need to know because you now need to know whether or not the father's money will be enough or still be there to sustain you and him in a relationship.
Absolutely.
Because maybe his dad has a line of credit for him that's only temporal or just allows him to buy some flashy stuff, or maybe he's using cars from the house. He's using driving his father's cars. His father has fancy cars, and all that kind of stuff. And you are just enjoying you seeing that. He doesn't tell you all this, you don't know, right? Then
Yeah.
we get to a point where you really when you're thinking, oh, okay, let me get married to this guy because I think he can provide for me. You haven't really interrogated his finances, right?
Yeah.
And you get married, you start getting into decisions of marrying this guy. Then you realize, oh, only then you realize this guy actually owns nothing, right? You need to, I think at this point, you now need to be honest. And also, as guys, we also need to be honest because if I'm doing some illegal stuff, right, I now need to tell you, hey, look, I'm a money changer, bro. Like, or I'm like some mashurugi on. I'm
I'm a
like
money launderer.
I'm a money launderer. So if you like this money, there's a possibility that we might get locked up, or I might get locked up. So you need to know, you know.
But disclaimer, if you tell your girl that you are into some criminal activities and she ends up reporting you to the police, we are not involved. You're not involved. We're not involved.
Yeah, we're not involved. And hey, girls, don't be snitches. Snitches get stitches. Someone
Okay.
tells you. And I think also it's at that point, when you get to that point where you start telling each other these things, I mean, you would have built that great level of trust. And yeah, I'd like to believe yeah, few will turn, That's where you have, like the Pablo Escobar's wives and,
Yeah.
the guys who got married to drug dealers, girls who got married to all those guys who then got arrested, and they knew. They'll know. The wives would know,
Hmm.
and they'll probably help. But I mean, everyone needs to know what they're getting into. That's
Yeah. Full
the key thing.
disclosure.
Yeah.
So, I think we got one last issue that we are going to talk about. Then
Mhm.
we are close to wrapping up. I don't know if we're going to be able to tackle this whole issue in the few minutes that remain, but I wanted to talk about borrowing money in the dating setup, how that looks like, and how people should do it without abusing each other, because we have had so many situations where, you know, a girl borrows money from his boyfriend, or the boyfriend borrows money from the girlfriend, and
Mhm.
this money never goes back. And it's one of those, oh yeah, it was during a time of love, but when things go south, people actually then demand this money in courts, or
Yeah.
it could actually be an actual loan, and
Yeah.
this person wants their money back, and then this person then uses the relationship to evade paying the money that they owe to their
Oh.
partner.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let's be clear. If you're borrowing money, you're borrowing with the intent of returning. It's
Hmm.
a loan, and
Hmm.
you're supposed to return that money.
Yeah.
If I'm giving you money, I'm giving you money.
Hmm.
most girls will make this the mistake that, hey, he I borrowed him some money, so I won't give him back.
Hmm.
That's bad.
Yeah.
It happens, and that's really bad. If
Hmm.
you borrow money from your boyfriend, give him back. If you're borrowing, give him back. It's better he tells you not to give him back,
Hmm.
or the point of returning, he says, nah, just keep it,
Hmm.
but return that money back, because you have just borrowed. You have not asked for it. Like, he's not giving you, like, yo, take this.
Hmm.
He's giving it to you in the sense of it's going to come back,
Yeah.
or she's giving to you in the sense that it's going to come back.
Hmm.
So when someone borrows money, please, 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 let's pay back. Let's pay back.
Because I mean, there's a lot of such situations where people find themselves saying, "Oh yeah, this guy owes me money," and maybe on top of that, he's being abusive and he's not returning the money, or the girl actually owes the guy money and she's doing the most and she's
Mhm.
actually not returning that money, and someone actually wants the money, and it's a form of financial toxicity in a relationship. If you are going to borrow money, return it. And
Yep.
unless it's a gift, or
Yeah.
because if you have situations like that, then you also have situations about people who are dating, who start a business together, and then at some point someone starts hogging all the money, or it just gets financially toxic.
It's especially with businesses.
Hmm.
I you just If you're starting a business with your partner, you just need to be certain that you do have the intelligence to be able to
Separate
face yeah,
business from the relationship.
from the relationship, yeah.
Hmm.
And also, you need to be prepared for a eventual situation where you guys break up, potential
Hmm.
situation where you can break up,
Yeah.
and you still have to run the goddamn business together, you know?
Yeah.
So you need to be prepared for that, because when you sign up for such a thing, that's why I always say, it's in as much as it's sweet, don't do it. Just don't.
Yeah.
It'll put you in a whole lot of problems. Just don't.
I mean, if you can't manage it well, I think the best way is to not do it, because, you don't want to be financially toxic to each other, where
Hmm.
you're bringing your emotions where logic should be brought to the table, and,
Exactly.
everything just goes south because you won't be able to manage the business with a clear mind,
Mind. Hmm.
and, there are no clear definitions of who's doing what and what money is being used where and
Hmm.
why. And because some people start these businesses together in
Hmm.
the dating scenario, and then one person might end up not pulling their weight because it's in that dating phase, and they're like, oh, okay, he's got it covered or she's got it covered,
Cover.
and not
Yeah.
knowing that they're actually being toxic to the other person.
Word.
Mm. So,
So yeah,
mhm,
you need to be careful with that.
yeah. And when things go south, they really go south, especially when people break up. That's
True.
when you'll see the nasty side, and someone is saying, I'm the one who invested all the money in this business, so I'm kicking you
Hmm.
out.
Yeah.
You are
So,
no
and
longer.
also,
Mhm.
if you then decide to do this, like if you then decide to get into a business relationship and a actual relationship,
Mhm.
always have the lawyer handle everything. Get everything handled legally
Yeah,
the
that's a
right
good
way.
point. Mhm.
You know, don't have these handshake deals and bedroom deals. No, just bedroom agreements. Just have everything written in paper.
In
Like,
paper.
okay, X owns X amount, Y amount of shares in the company. B owns a amount of shares in the company, so that there will never be an issue of, hey, I own this, I brought in this, I brought in that. May everything be clearly accounted for. Just do everything the right way and avoid issues situations like that.
Absolutely.
Yep.
I think we have come to the end of this episode.
The
Hopefully, we can.
non-shurugwi.
Part one, yes. We are talking money issues. We are going to be covering a lot of different issues in the dating scenario. Today we covered money. We are
You
going
heard.
to be covering the physical aspects. We're going to be
Mhm.
covering the mental aspects, a lot of
Yeah.
different issues that we're going to be covering that affect people and relationships. And hopefully, you pick up a few nuggets and, share with us what you think. So, here we just wanted to discourage people not to be financially toxic and to manage their relationships well when it comes to money, because there's a lot of abuse both from the men and from the women
Hmm.
when it comes to money. Money is a huge factor because it makes the whole dating life more exciting and
Excited.
all of that.
Word.
Yeah.
That's true.
Hmm.
Yeah, because it's fun to go places, it's fun to
Hmm.
see animals, take road trips,
Yeah.
go places,
Hmm.
eat exotic food.
Yeah. So, I guess this is it for this episode. If we can get a man who's part of the Stingy Men's Association to be on a podcast with us, definitely you might be seeing a part two. So that we are very unfortunate that we had a good guy today. We want a bad guy, a really
Wow.
bad guy, to come so that we really dissect this issue and hear from someone who's like on the polar end of things, and and get some of these issues out, because obviously maybe we left out some issues
True.
being
Yep.
good people. Maybe we don't really know the
We,
nasty side.
we don't.
Yeah, so definitely, if you want to be on an episode, just let us know your contributions. Reach out to us on our social media platforms.
And we'll get you onto the show.
And again, if this triggered you, you know it was for you. You know it was for you.
Yep. Full disclaimer. These are just our thoughts.
Hmm.
Yeah, these are just our thoughts and words. Please don't take them to heart. Please. Don't
Well,
come up yet. Yeah, I mean, there's some people say, "Hey, I heard this on this podcast, and this is what we should do." I mean, yo, these are just our ideas.
mhm. Maybe
Yeah,
you've got better ones. Bring them
yeah,
forth.
true. Maybe
Open.
you actually have better ones. Yeah,
Hmm.
bring them to forward. We need them. We want to discuss them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, I
All
guess it's
right.
a wrap.
Yep, it is. So thank you guys for being with us for yet another exciting episode of the African Millennial Podcast. Now with Vina.
Mhm.
And can't wait to see you again in the next episode where we talk of these non-shuriki conversations and have all these polarizing discussions on
Yeah.
relationships and all things involved. So from me and Vida, it's a wrap.
Hmm. Catch you next time.
Catch you next time, guys. Cheers.
I've been having conversations with myself. Need to know myself better and be a go-getter. Cause I've been running from the world and from myself. Now I'm not afraid of failure. Cause the vision clearer. Why don't you tell me what I'm missing? I'm speaking all this time, but I could tell they never listen. Nah, I put the keys in the ignition. Driven by success, but all my dreams are feeling distant. Married to the game, but honestly, I need a mistress. Been in the world for a while to know it doesn't work on wishes. Now I'm bootstrapped in the booth to make a hit list. And I ain't talking about the one with targets that are Caymans, but I'm anxious. Should I pull the trigger on these haters? Cause I don't wanna make a